Meeting to order. Cindy, do you want to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, please? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Dave, could I have a roll call, please?
All right. Trustee Wright,
Here.
Treasurer Jarvis,
Here.
Supervisor Ertz,
Here.
Trustee Beeman,
Here.
and Clerk Stamey, here.
Everyone is present, thank you. We need an approval of the agenda, but we had a meeting this afternoon with Matt Lewandowski from Prine and Newhoff, and due to that meeting, we have added a number of things that we'd like to place on the agenda for bids under new business. So I am going to add, with your approval, a bid for a pavilion. We'd like to discuss obtaining bids for a pavilion, bids for a dog park, and clearing of the pines for the parking area, as well as bid for a pole barn and bids for fencing around the wellhead. With that, could I have approval of the agenda?
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda with the additions.
Support.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any discussion? All right, agenda is approved. Thank you. You have in front of you, you were given actually in your packet, the minutes from our last meeting. You've had a while to...
I'll make a motion to approve.
Thank you, Bob.
I'll support.
All right, any discussion on the minutes? All right, with that, I'd like a roll call on that, or just a...
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Linda, back on that previous one, just, I didn't get in quick enough, but on the things you're looking for bids on, are those all things that we have budgeted and plan on doing this year, or what?
They come under various ARPA funds, and some are budgeted items. The pole barn has been budgeted.
I know that has.
Mhm.
But there are things that are gonna be done this year?
We'll attempt to get them done this year.
All right.
Okay, with the minutes then, we all, did we vote on that?
We did.
All right, motion carries then. Thank you. All right, next up is our treasurer's report. Heather?
Our April 1st, 2023 beginning general fund balance was $1,410,012.35. Revenues totaled $78,414.31. Expenditures totaled $66,531.42, leaving an ending balance of $1,421,895.24.
Okay, thank you, Heather. Did anyone have any questions for Heather? Okay, we'll place the treasurer's report on file then. Thank you. Dave, any disbursements other than the
The only
regular?
one that was unusual was we paid our insurance, property and liability insurance last month, so that was $12,700.
Okay. Then with that said, could I have a motion to pay our
I'll make
regular
that
bill?
motion to pay the remaining bills.
I'll second
Okay. Any discussion? All right, since we're
Okay.
paying bills,
It's
could I
okay
have a
if
roll
everybody
call
Just
vote?
use first names, all right? Bob,
Yes.
Heather,
Yes.
Linda,
Yes,
Brian,
Yes.
Dave, yes.
okay, motion carries. Correspondence, you all received in your packet, the proposed Blue Lake ORV ordinance. This is a notice on their public hearing. So that was just for information only. Melanie Arbogast called us when we were working on ours, so we sent that information to her. And they very much wanted to do one as well, so we furnished ours to them. So any questions on that at all? Okay, that was for information only. All right, and also Dave Glotzbach, the fire chief at Muskegon Charter Township, provided, when the deputy fire chief was here doing some training for us, Dave wanted us to have their annual report. And that has lots of great information, so he wanted us to have that. So please, you don't have enough time to look that over. A few of us have had, but please take one with you if you've not had an opportunity to review that, do so. It really does give you some really good information, not only about Muskegon Charter Township and the services they provide, but also how they help Cedar Creek Township. Okay, public comments about agenda items only. Any public comments? All right, we did not have any unfinished business. Moving along to our master plan process update. I may need your help, Lorraine, on this. I'll do my best to get through this, but the Planning Committee has been working hard on the master plan, and they truly have. It's a great committee, and they've been pulling together. Lorraine has been getting great new maps from the county, and maps that have not heretofore been included in our master plan. So I commend her on that. It's going to make a real difference in our master plan. So, but one of the things that this board is charged with is knowing all the things that are included in our master plan. And I know when I first came on, I spent a lot of time poring over our master plan. And it makes a difference if we know exactly what Cedar Creek is all about. So, excuse me. When if I'm not exactly explaining this right, but if the Planning Commission can be the final deciding body on the master plan, or the board can. So I am actually recommending, and I very seldom recommend what the board does, but that we are the ultimate deciding body on this. But in order to do that, we must take a vote. So, guess I'm asking for a motion to, Lorraine, do you want to explain in any greater detail on how this works? There's a 42-day process on this, after the committee, after a public hearing. Is that correct? Do I have that right?
The public hearing is after the 42-day review period.
Okay.
The process is the Planning Commission.
Andy's asking you to stand up. Everybody hates that. It's so painful.
Once the Planning Commission
thinks they're finished, they have a draft plan, they can't move forward with the 42-day waiting period until the board looks at it and says, yes, it's good, proceed. Then it goes out to the surrounding communities, county commissioners, and
I
after
left
the,
out that's a step I left out.
after the 42-day waiting period, then there's a public hearing. The planning commission can adopt it at that meeting, or if the board votes tonight that they want to have the final yes or no, then the planning commission makes a recommendation to the board.
Okay, and ultimately, that is it, and I have full faith in the planning commission. I don't want that to go unnoted. It's not that, it's just, I believe that the planning commission, that we have entrusted the planning commission to make good and decisions, and they always do that for us. It's just, in my estimation, we are the deciding body on this, and I am one vote, and I want that to be very clear. I am one vote on this board, so I need to make that statement, which is why it's going before a vote here. So it is either the plan, we are voting to have, and Lorraine brought this to us because we need to make this decision.
Right.
Whether it is a planning commission decision or a board decision. So it has to be one or the other.
Myself, I think coming from the planning commission, because they've been working with this master plan, just not 2 or 3 years. Some of us been there 10 or 11 years. I think you can get more from the planning commission making a recommendation to the board, and then the board should be able to trust us to go ahead and support it. I mean, it makes it easier, and it's the way it's always been done. I've never seen it done the way that you explained, so that's where I am.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong, but I mean, is not the planning commission an advisory committee to
It's
the
an
board?
advisory committee.
So we ultimately make the decision either before or after it's
Right.
finalized,
They have to bring it to the board
The draft.
before it,
the draft, right?
right, so
And then it could change after that, I
do
mean,
they
you have
typically
the-
make changes after that, Lauren?
based on feedback.
Not typically, no.
They have the authority to approve it after the public meeting. And once the planning committee brings it to me and I review it, I trust the planning committee will make the right decision after the public hearing.
Lorraine, that was one question that I did have. Could we make any changes at all to that? I mean, if they were changes, they would be small changes, is that correct?
Are you talking about when it goes,
Once the
When the
planning
draft-
commission made their recommendations, once the planning commission made recommendations to its final recommendation to the board,
Are you if the board's not gonna make the decision?
if the board were to make its decision, assuming the board wanted to make the final decision,
Okay,
then, based on the planning commission's decision, final recommendation, and then what if the board wanted to make small edits?
if the board chooses to have the final yes or no, then the board can make changes in the end,
Okay,
yeah.
But you're saying that once we had approved the draft to go out for distribution, that it's not gonna change based on any
I'm
feedback
not
from?
saying that, because then there's a public hearing and they might take
Right.
comments and they might say, oh, we wanna tweak something.
Right. So it could change, so I think we should
Yes.
retain the final approval of it.
Yes.
And even if it didn't change,
And I believe
based on custom or.
Typically, that doesn't happen, but
Yeah.
it could.
I would be opposed to a change after the public hearing. Once it's
Well, why-
approved, once it's approved, and it's given to the planning committee who's done the work, that is in their hands to approve or adapt that or not at that time. Then they would have to come back to us for a review again and put it back to a public after 45 days, correct? If there's a, changes to it.
Start over again
No,
though? No.
no.
Hmm.
But I've not seen a master plan go to the board for final approval and then get changed after a public hearing. I haven't seen that. But I'm not saying it couldn't happen. I guess it's such a long process. When they get to that point, I think they're done. Does that answer your
Mind
question?
you, we do have the right to see the master, to look at and review
Correct,
the planning commission's,
The final version.
the final version,
correct.
and make edits at that time, correct? And make edits, if we chose to make edits.
Yes. Okay.
We did this a little backwards in that we should have voted on this and then had discussion, folks, so.
No, you have discussion, then you vote.
Well,
No,
you have to make a motion in
motion,
order
we
to.
should have
Motion,
made the motion
support,
and
Then
then.
discussion, and then vote.
So, okay, I'd like a motion.
I'll make a motion to discuss, how we wanna move forward with the master plan update. You have to make a motion to discuss.
We
So
we
we
did
just-
this
we
back,
just
we
discussed
did
without a
this, we
motion,
did,
so we're
we
doing
did
it.
this backwards.
It's
I'll
just to
second it.
discuss, it's not a
Yeah.
yes or no, so.
Just say yes, Brian.
I'll second the discussion.
You're supporting it, Brian.
So now do we need a motion on how we wanna,
Yeah, we need,
Proceed.
we just, so we're legally discussing this now.
I believe once the planning commission comes to me and I review it and either approve or disapprove it, it is back in their hands after the public meeting to adopt it. That's my opinion.
Okay.
I support the planning commission, the way it's set up to do it, so. The way we've done it in the past, the way we've done it for years, that's where I am.
well, I guess in my mind, what's the difference if we voted on it before or after if it's not gonna change? But I thought the whole purpose of the public hearing and everybody else having input is if there is some pushback or something, you could change it. So I think we should retain the ultimate approval. I'll probably vote a stamp, but I think we should, as the board, they're advisory to us, so we should have the final say on it.
It's a lot of information that we already have in our heads that you guys are gonna have to put in your head and make a quick decision. I think planning commission, I think they give you that. So.
Okay, and thank you, I
That's where
appreciate
I
that, I
stand.
appreciate,
Okay.
they have been working on this for a very long time, and I appreciate that. Okay, with that in mind, I would like, now I have to have a motion to vote on on a decision to I'm going to call for a motion to move forward with the board voting, having the final decision on the master plan.
I have another question.
Okay, all right.
If we decide to have the board be the final say, is that like a hindrance to the master plan? Is that gonna hold things up? Is it gonna slow the process down or be a pain?
It's not a big hindrance, it's gonna delay the final approval by maybe 3 weeks. Because the planning commission will make a recommendation and then at the next board meeting, the board will decide.
Okay,
So it's a small delay, it's not a hindrance.
okay.
We ready to vote?
All right.
Bob,
No,
Heather,
No.
Linda,
Yes.
Dave, yes. Brian,
No.
Motion fails. the planning commission will retain the
Recommendation to
Recommendation.
the board.
which is fine, so.
As long as it's a final version.
Well, it will be,
Yeah.
it will be.
It will.
And that is, if you looked at the memo, it's worked out, so it can be done either way, which is absolutely fine and should be, the board has full power to make edits on this. So I'm very comfortable either way on this. So thank you, members of the board.
Linda?
Yes.
Can I just make one comment?
Yes, of course.
During this whole process, the survey results have always been part of the decisions of what's going into the master plan, so the public input is in it. I can't imagine a lot of changes coming at the public hearing
Okay,
from the public.
from the public, okay. Thank you, members. It's not easy when we have decisions that differ, but it is healthy, so I appreciate that, and thank you for this. Next item on the agenda is our building visitor policy. Heather attended her treasurer's certification class, and thank you for doing that. She is now a certified,
Michigan Certified Professional Treasurer.
thank you. I would not have gotten that
Not
on my.
officially until June though.
Okay. So congratulations,
Thank you.
Heather, for
Thank
that. And one of the things one of the classes that she took talked about how, actually, we all attended in our MTA, Michigan Townships Association conference. They talked about keeping buildings safe, hardening of your townships, and so we spent a lot of time about safety. And so you notice pink signs on the doors, and so we have a policy. Bob asked that about if somebody is unruly, we can ask them to leave. Even that, asking somebody to leave is not that easy. Our policy, if I didn't pull it before this, but we have to ask them 3 different times to please be kinder, gentler. I'm trying to be kind about this. We have the right to call the police if they aren't behaving in a way that is conducive to running a township meeting more smoothly. But we have in our office sensitive documents. We have operations that are perhaps sensitive at some times, and voting needs to be secure at all times, and there, especially at particular times, we don't want people going into the offices. And we know that there are people who feel very comfortable just barging into certain people's offices without invitation. So that was one of the things that they focused on, making sure that you have a policy in place that states that people are not allowed without being authorized to enter into those offices. So without those policies, they can just enter. So the board has in front of them a policy, and I would ask that for a motion to put that policy into place.
I'll make that motion.
Support.
Any questions or concerns about this particular policy?
I got one concern.
Yes.
It says that to do this, the policy provides authorization for each staff member the right to provide access to their offices only. How do I get to my office?
Yeah,
Yeah, you are.
you have to be really nice to the Heathers.
Yeah, the Heathers, you gotta get past the Heathers.
You don't count.
Yeah, you don't have, you have to
I'll stay home
levitate.
then.
Well, you just sort of have to figure that one out.
There will be a toll.
Yeah. You pay
That's
it.
permission from now on. You can go off
You- You ask for exemption. Ask for a fee.
Nice.
I never thought about that, but that's cute, Dave.
I missed that, Dave.
With that caveat, could we have a motion to approve this?
Ryan
make a
made
motion.
the motion and
Bob.
Second, all right.
Now we just vote?
I got sidetracked on that one.
All in favor?
I,
All right.
Motion carries. I love that. If for those of you who don't know, there is no way to Dave's office.
Without going to someone else's office first.
Thank you. Next on the agenda would be the professional assessment of the Township Hall. And Dave, I'm gonna let you handle that one if you would.
Yeah, in the building committee, we're looking at improving and increasing our office space. And the first question is, do we build on this building here, or do we build a new building? There's feelings going both ways, but I think the first thing we need to do is to get an independent assessment of this building, if it's worth building onto, or if it's too old and just knock it down. So we want to approve up to, or request approval up to $2,500 to get an independent assessment of this building. So,
And you are, Brian gave us one bid.
right, we got 3 or 4 we've been looking at.
Yeah,
so.
so, and we also have our building inspector who is going to go through the building step by step to determine his thoughts on the building. And I mean, we just jokingly talked about Dave's lack of access to his office. So we truly do want to know if this building can in fact be retrofitted to add office space. You know, it's not fun my office is right outside the bathrooms, that's not fun.
And you're doubled up in that office anyway.
Yes,
so.
and there's no meeting space here, so we are looking at what can we do to make this, if possible, to retrofit it, to make it look like something other than perhaps a schoolhouse or a church, which it is. You know, people often think that it is. It wasn't. That's our understanding. But time will tell. So they're getting bids to see what can be done, if it's possible to retrofit this, or if it does need to be torn down. And so with that said, could I have a motion?
Make a motion.
I'll second
Okay. Any questions or concerns?
You have in your notes, do we have to get 3 bids on this? And,
He's already looking at,
okay, is Jeff considered, can Jeff be one of the professionals? Because
it. He is. We're
okay,
basically getting a second opinion to his, so
Okay.
yes, he is going to give us a written
a written,
report on it.
okay. Okay.
Okay.
okay.
We need-
We're spending money, so we need a
All
roll
right.
call vote.
Bob,
Yes.
Heather,
Yes.
Linda,
Yes,
Dave, yes, Ryan.
Yes.
All right.
motion carries. Thank you. Okay, and Bob has been looking at quotes for truck repair, And, we do have what year is the truck?
2 of them,
Two.
2013.
213 Chevy truck.
Okay,
And Ron brought it to my attention. We looked at it, I don't know, a week and a half, 2 weeks ago. And the back fender basically needs to be replaced. Salt. I mean, when we looked at that truck, when we first got it, we checked that thing over with a fine tooth comb. It was perfect. It just goes to show the salt and the calcium chloride we put on them roads really can, and both body people that gave the quotes said that this fender's been worked on before. So, but none of us are professionals, so we didn't know, but the one side got replaced last year, thanks to the towing guy. And now we got this one. We got 2 quotes. Jack's Body Shop, that was $3,500 and I think 62 cents, and then Northland Collision is $41.37. And my recommendation is to go with the experienced Jack's Body Shop. The guy's got 60 years experience. I've seen some of his work and it's remarkable.
Yeah, he's good.
And I think you get what you pay for when you go there, but experience to me, I know I'd take my car there in a heartbeat.
I have, they're good.
And it's a Cedar Creek.
Yeah, and it is a
Business
Cedar
as
Creek
well.
resident, and, and I know our policy speaks to some of that stuff.
Well, his
And
bid is also lower,
Northland
so.
Collision is on 120 in Holton, and they do good work, but I heard a couple people say that one guy there did something with insurance or something, and so.
well, the board has the quotes in front of them. And thank you, Bob, for going out and getting these quotes for us. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Do we need another quote, or are we okay with these 2 quotes?
I think 2 is
I
enough.
think these 2 quotes are fine.
Okay, then could I entertain a motion to select a quote?
I'll make a motion that we go with Jack's Body Shop.
I'll second it.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, motion carries to select Jack's Body Shop. And this is for both repairs.
Yep, the hood and the fender.
Okay, all right.
And he's gonna strip the hood right down to, cause he said it's the only way to do it. So,
Okay, all right. Thank you very much for that.
you're welcome.
All right. The next on the agenda, we're just going to ask for, this is a discussion for obtaining bids only for the pavilion, and we just met with one gentleman tonight. So that was just he was here doing something else.
He was here putting a pole barn bed
Yeah.
together,
Yeah.
so,
So, we just need to make sure that we're okay for obtaining bids for pavilion. And I'm asking for separate motions because you might not all agree on everything. I can bundle all of this together, if you want, or I can separate them.
I think you can probably bundle it because we're just asking for permission to start asking for bids and
Okay.
and do
I agree with
some
that.
research. We're
All
not
right.
spending anything.
All right, then it's for the pavilion, dog park, clearing of the pines for the parking area, the pole barn, and fencing around the wellhead. So
I'll make a motion.
all right.
Second.
Any discussion or concern regarding any of this? All right. Could I have roll call on this then?
Who's gonna be responsible for getting all these codes?
Oh, let's.
All of us?
All of us. We're all gonna pitch in and do all of this. I'll start assigning.
We already got one.
Yeah.
All right, Bob,
Yes.
Heather,
Yes.
Linda,
Yes.
Dave, yes, Brian.
Yes.
All right, unanimous.
All right, thank you very much. We have our work cut out. Thank you. Board comments.
I'd just like to talk about the parking lot for a minute. I had the chance to go to API today and see their beautiful facility. It's awesome. I went in and sat and talked with Ken Johnson. He's the owner. I know last year we tried to get a quote from these guys, and for some reason, he don't know why. If somebody come out and measured it, why we didn't get a quote. So he's gonna come out here himself on that.
Thank you.
So, 'cause the parking lot is terrible and something's gotta be done with it, so. And they're local. You can try to get quotes from Grand Rapids or even up north. Thing of it is, you're gonna pay a lot more because them guys, when they get in their truck heading this way, they're getting paid until they get home. And that's just the way that business operates, but these guys are right here. And he said we should have our quote by Friday on the parking lot, so.
Oh, thank you.
I just wanted to make sure that, you know, because I know we get a lot of complaints from people pulling in and saying,
Yeah,
when are they
it's-
gonna fix that? And the road commission, you know, Drew said he was gonna send people over, but he's not done nothing, so,
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
yeah, it's bad. But other than that, I don't have anything else.
Heather?
Nope.
Either of you gentlemen? Let's see, Holton Township Fire Department will be bringing their fire truck here next June at our June board meeting. And Commissioner Laring, I want to thank you for voting in favor of our senior millage. We have already, once I got notification that that had happened, I placed the order for our adult exercise equipment. So that's gone in. It takes 12 weeks once we place the order. So, but people are excited, and this township park is going to be really nice. So thank you for that. I had some notes, but I left them on the computer, so I had some more things to say. But that's all I have right now. How about public comments? Hi, how are you?
Hi, how are you? Good evening. Christina Achterhoff with Senator John Bumstead's office. And I don't really have much to report from Lansing. They're in the middle of budget time, so they are working on amendments and more amendments and more amendments. So, because things have to get done by June, so that's just a month out, so that's what they're working on. In the meantime, the Sparks grant, if you're working on anything with that, is coming up, so that will be due the end of June. So if you're working on that, I hope you get your information in, because there is money, there's a lot of surplus in the state, so it would be nice if you were awarded something, so that would be great.
We are working on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if anyone has any concerns or needs any assistance, or you, the public, please reach out to us if you have any veterans issues, any senior issues, any unemployment issues. We have great staff in Lansing that is there to assist you in any way, or we can help you and guide you, direct you, and so get things resolved. So you can speak to me after the meeting, and I'd be happy to take your information or give you my card, and you can email me and reach out. So.
Christina, while you're up here, I do want to thank the senator for his support on the veterans issues with respect to the property tax. We are, Martha can attest to this, Cedar Creek is hit really hard, and I know he's lobbying the state very hard for them to take that responsibility over. So please, I believe I'll see the senator on May, it's 17th or 19th when I'll be in Lansing.
Oh,
but
great.
So it's for, what is it, Older Michiganians Day. He'll
Okay.
probably be there for that.
Okay.
I'm on that committee,
Yeah,
so.
great.
But
know.
that's such an important issue, and I know he has lobbied very, very hard for that.
And trying to reintroduce that same bill that kind of died out.
I know, but he keeps
So-
working on it.
Right, right. So we're hopeful that it will get support from the governor and it will go through, so. But I know Treasury's kind of been pulling, because they really don't want to take that responsibility, but they should. I don't think it was really personally well thought out when they approved the veterans bill for that, how it affects all of our communities, and I think we're all challenged with it. And so hopefully if they make some tweaks and then they can take some of the burden off, it will really help us. So hopefully it'll go that way.
I know townships just feel very strongly about that, so, I mean, it is a burden on townships.
I understand, and I'll share your thoughts. So.
All right, please do,
Anyways,
thank you. Commissioner, did you want to share anything?
No.
We appreciate your being here tonight.
Oh, thank you.
Anyone else have anything that they'd like to share tonight? All right. Could I have a motion to adjourn?